I think of emotional maturity as a healthy balance of what is important to live a wholehearted life. Someone is emotionally mature when their inner self leader balances out important life skills like the ability to be there for oneself and others, or the ability to be authentic and tactful and sensitive. This makes emotionally mature people flexible and able to adapt their behavior to different situations in life. We act in emotionally less mature ways when we're more rigid in our repertoire of behavior. For example, if you only focus on being there for others and neglect self-care, or if you only play it safe and avoid all challenge and risk. Stay tuned to learn about these kinds of important complementary life skills to further develop your emotional maturity. I have 20 that I want to discuss in 2 videos. This video is part 1, in which I'll discuss the first 10. Hey everyone, and welcome to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and let's get started right away with pair number 1, vulnerability and self-protection. Vulnerability means to be able to fully open up to trustworthy people that are capable of understanding and appreciating you. Also, when you feel difficult emotions. This is an important prerequisite for emotional closeness in relationships and your own emotional health. Vulnerability needs to be balanced with self-protection, knowing who not to open up to because they would respond with automatic and generalized criticism and judgment or any other non-empathetic response like attack, blame, pity, manipulation, gaslighting, patronizing, exploitation. Without self-protection, vulnerability turns into oversharing. And without vulnerability, self-protection turns into rigid defensiveness, loneliness, emotional pain, and problems in close relationships. Number 2, self-trust and uncertainty. Self-trust means to be able to trust your own thoughts, feelings, and instincts. For example, it means to trust that when you feel overwhelmed, you actually are overwhelmed and something needs to change. It means to trust your inner knowing, intuition, and inner sense of guidance, and feeling confident about what makes sense to you and what you believe. This needs to be balanced with room for uncertainty, not knowing, a readiness to learn, and willingness to open up to new information. Without this awareness that we can't know everything, and without opening up to something new from time to time, self-trust turns into judgment of others, stuckness, having problems but not knowing where they come from. And without self-trust, room for uncertainty turns into chronic insecurity. Number 3, belonging and individuality. We're able to belong when we've learned not to identify with our past experiences of belonging, or better, not belonging and abandonment. We've learned to create our sense of belonging by the choices we make about who to be around and how we interact with people. Someone who's able to and has learned to belong knows that they're equal to others on an existential level and chooses to be around people that appreciate and cherish them. They also don't feel excluded or devalued when that's not what's happening. To live a wholehearted life, this healthy sense and value of belonging needs to be balanced with an awareness and appreciation of your individuality, authenticity, and autonomy. Your right to be here just as you are. Your right to communicate. Let others know what you really think, what you want, what you need, and to set boundaries. When belonging and individuality are balanced like this, they don't turn into loneliness, either because you are factually alone or you're surrounded by people who don't really know or see the real you. Number 4, accountability and unburdening yourself. Accountability is the willingness to accept responsibility for the things that you're responsible for. It means to allow yourself to see the things that are under your control and that you can influence, and also the people that your actions have consequences for. It means to be able to learn from your mistakes in a way in which you encourage yourself. Accountability needs to be balanced with the ability to unburden yourself from events you weren't responsible for. Misplaced guilt. This is something that would be good for you to practice if you're quick to fall into a rabbit hole of ruminating about what you did wrong. And if you're quick to take the blame just to keep the peace, even if it had nothing to do with you. Without the ability to unburden yourself from events that you weren't or aren't responsible for, one-sided accountability turns into depressing self-blame, and it really weighs on your self-esteem. Without accountability, unburdening yourself turns into excessive blame of other people, which harms them and your relationships. Number 5, acceptance and agency. Acceptance is the skill of acknowledging reality. It means to allow reality to be as it is without needing to invest energy and time into struggling against, fighting with, or denying reality. This doesn't mean that you have to always like it, but it means to acknowledge what it is so you can better work with it. It means to say yes, and yes, I'm tired today, and I'll show up for the things that matter to me. Yes, part of human life is to carry a responsibility, and I'll find a way of carrying it lightly and with joy. Yes, with age, my health isn't what it used to be, and I'll focus on the things that I can do and be part of. Healthy acceptance is balanced with a sense of your own agency, knowing in which ways you can make things happen, drive change, and invest your time and energy to maintain and achieve good results. It's trusting that you can make a difference. If acceptance isn't balanced with a sense of your own agency, it turns into complacency. And if an awareness of your agency isn't balanced with acceptance, it turns into frustration, burnout, and unhealthy aggression. For today, I want to stop here. I have 5 more pairs of emotional maturity life skills that complement each other in a wholesome life. That will be the topic of next week's video. If you don't want to miss that and you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this topic. Till next time, take care, and remember, developing emotional maturity means to expand your repertoire and flexibility with your responses to events and situations in life.